Would you fund this deal or not? So I'm going to show you in this video how I analyze a deal that just came to my desk, and I'm going to close on it and wire the funds today. So I want to make sure that I show you the step-by-step process, what happened since I got this deal, how I analyze the deal, and what I do in order to bring this deal to the closing table when I wire the funds. The borrower happy, the seller's happy, and I'm happy, and hopefully this will be an educational video and that you will be able to take valuable information. So maybe you one day decide to become a private money lender. And this is especially for you if you are an investor and if you are tired of dealing with rentals, with tenants, with property managers, with contractor, and you want to sit in a different seat in the table, same real estate transaction, same real estate deal, same comps, same title company, just in the lender table. I want to make sure that you see the process from my eyes, and hopefully it will make sense to you. So let's start with showing you the deal here on the iPad. So this is the deal that I just received. So I always look at the deal from three different terms. So I have my asset, my borrower, and my term. So let's start with the asset. So this property is in Lawton, Oklahoma. It's a nice metro area in Oklahoma, not too far from Oklahoma City. It's a single family home. You can see the picture here of the property. A nice brick house. It's 4 bedroom, 1.5 bath, about 1,300 square foot, something like that. This is a property that I would love to own. So I always ask myself, if things go sideways, would I want to own this property? And the answer for this specific deal is yes. And that's why I decided to move forward with this deal. So definitely would like to own this property. If everything goes wrong, I need to foreclose on the property and take it back and keep it as a rental. It's definitely fit the bill. The purchase price on this property is $71K, and actually it's 65K and a 6K assignment fee because a wholesaler brought this deal to my borrower. The borrower presented the deal to me. I don't care if there's a wholesaler involved, as long as I know about it. Everything is on the HUD. I see the assignment of contract. I see the purchase agreement to verify the number, and everything looks good. So my borrower is going to get this property for $71,000. The after repair value, it's about $159K. At least that's what they plan to list it on the market once the property is renovated. The repairs estimate is $34.2K to bring it to retail value, meaning that this is not going to be a rental. They're not going to keep it as a rental. The exit strategy is going to be a flip. And the loan amount, I'm going to keep, I will wait with that so you can see in the terms. I'm going to move it to here in a second. So let's talk about the borrower. The borrower is the person that we trust with our money to make sure that they can bring the deal to the finish line. They will be able to pay me my interest and point. They will be able to execute their business plan to do the renovation, list the property, and sell it and make money. I want them to make money because if they don't make money, they are not going to come back and do another deal with me. And I always, as the lender, want to have a repeat borrower to make sure that they're happy with my service, with my process, and they keep coming back so my money can keep going back to work and redeployed on another deal. So I always want to make sure that my borrowers make money. And that's why I'm going to underwrite the deal to make sure it looks good for me and for them. So about the borrowers, this is a super experienced person. This is our fourth deal together. They did a great job on the first three deals together. They communicate well. They organize. They have good team. It's a husband and wife duo. When the husband is a realtor, local realtor, grew up in Lawton, Oklahoma, very familiar with the market. The borrower, the lady, I know her personally. She's from Israel. She moved to Oklahoma City. They got married and they are doing a great job together. And I'm happy to do this deal with them. Super cool vibes, very responsive. Give me everything that I need to underwrite the deal, to review it. And I'm very happy to do this deal with them. This is a flip deal that the exit strategy, as I mentioned, because of the property value in this area. The plan B, in case they can't sell the property, they can refinance, keep the property as a rental, and the number will still work. So the timeline is 6 months to complete the rehab, and based on their performance with the previous 3 months, they hit this mark very easily. Super organized, professional. They have all the numbers in check. Good crews. They moving fast, and I like it about them. So this is the bore. This is number two. Always look at the asset first, because bad things can happen to good people, and you sometimes you never know what's going to happen. That's why you fall back on the asset, and you want to make sure you have good asset. I've made this mistake before when I lend to a good borrower, had good intention, but the market turned on them, and I was stuck with a bad asset. That's why I never lend now on bad asset, and I added this step in my process. Would I like to own this property? And if the answer is no, I'm not going to move forward, even if the borrower is great and I love them. Let's move to the terms, because the terms is important. So I decided to structure the deal this way. So it's going to be a 100K loan when I'm going to give them 100% of the rehab, which will be 34.2K, and I'm going to give them 65.8K to close on the deal, meaning that they will need to bring, again, remember 71 is the purchase price, so they will need to bring almost, I will give you in a second. Wait 1 second, it will make sense, because once you know the points, it will make sense. It's going to be $100,000 loan, and they will be charged 3 points, which will be on a $100,000 loan, would be 3K. The interest rate will be 12% interest rate, and the skin in the game for them, again, it will be the 3K plus this difference, which will be probably around 8 to 10K plus closing costs and everything else. So that's their skin in the game. So that's pretty much the loan to cost will be close to 10%, I would say. And I want them to have some skin in the game. Again, I like them, so I fund almost 95% loan to cost, because it's $100,000 loan, and the project cost is 71 plus 34. So they don't bring a lot of money to the table, which is good for them. And I'm okay with that, because the deal is good. The loan to value is about 63% loan to value, meaning that I have almost 40% equity in case the deal goes sideways. I need to foreclose. I always mention that because I always look at the deal from 3 different ways: position, protect, and cash flow. If you don't position yourself the right way, these types of deal will never come to you, and these types of borrowers will never come to you. Number 2 is to protect. After I find the right deal that fit my lending box, I'm going to go to the second phase, is to protect. And that's why the protect is the terms, which is 63% loan to value. They will bring money out of pocket, meaning that if they go sideways, they're going to lose money before I lose money. Again, very important things for a lender to think about it. So they definitely have skin in the game, and I have good position in this deal. 63% loan to value is fairly conservative. I usually don't go over 70%, and probably 65% is my sweet spot, and this is definitely fit the bill. So what happens after that? So the way I'm going to make money is going to be $1,000 per month, monthly payment, plus times 6. Okay, so that would be $6,000 plus $3,000 with the points. So that would be $9,000 in 6 months. So if you do it twice per year, because I can redeploy the money again, that's basically 18% return on my money with probably 4 hours worth of work. So I agreed to fund this deal. We're going to close today, and I'm working on my documents right now, on my lending docs. So a few things that I need to get from the title company. So first of all, title commitment and CPL, which is coverage protection letter, meaning that the title is clear. There is no liens, and when I will going to fund the deal, I will be in first position. Okay, that's super important to me. That's why I want to see the title commitment to make sure there's no title issues. And when we fund the deal, there's no liens, there's no issues with the title, and my mortgage or my loan will be in first position. I always fund first position almost 99% of the time. Very rarely I fund second position, and I don't recommend you to fund second position loans. So once I get a title commitment, I'm gonna get an insurance policy. So the borrower will need to get an insurance policy and adding my lending entity as loss payee. Why? Because if the property is going to burn down, I want to make sure I'm getting my capital back. So I will be the loss payee. The insurance policy will write me a check to cover my loan before anything else. So obviously the coverage needs to be higher than my loan amount. Okay, so coverage higher than my loan amount, so I get all of my money back. Okay, and lastly, before I fund the deal, there will be the docs. And what I include in my docs is obviously a mortgage in Oklahoma or deed of trust, a promissory note. That's to make sure all the terms are clear to everybody, default interest, the terms of the loan, the interest rate, the monthly payments, renewal fees. So there's a renewal fee option here in the terms. So if they want to extend, there will be two options. They will have either 3-month extension for 2 points, which is basically $2,000. Or if they need more time, so it will be 3 points for 6 months. And that's obviously will be $3,000. Why do I do that? I do that, A, to make sure that they know there is a limit to the time. So there is an end goal, there is a maturity date by which I expect to get my money back. And if not, there should be consequences for them to keep them accountable. And number two, to protect my interests and my income. I want to make sure that I was expecting the money to go back to work after 6 months. And if they can't execute on the business plan, I need to be compensated for that because my money need to continue to work and I was relying on the points to move them on another deal. So that's why I have the clause, and that's obviously will be in the promissory note. There will be a default interest rate in case they fail a payment or anything like that. The interest rate will jump. They're not going to be 12%. It's going to go up to 18% default interest rate. And everything will be specified in the promissory note. Super, super important. I also have personal guarantee. I also have a rent and lease, assignment of rent and lease. In case the property generate income and there is a default, I will be able to collect the rent and the income that is generated by this property before I complete the foreclosure process. Okay, so this is the main documents. I also have a business disclosure loan, meaning that this is an investment type loan. It's business to business loans, LLC to LLC. There is no owner occupied. And this is basically very important to stay compliance, because once you start to lend to owner occupied, there's much more regulation, and I don't recommend you to do that. That's why I only lend business to business loans. Usually you don't need a license for that. In most states, you need to check it with your local states, but I always prefer to have business to business type loans. So I have them sign a document that confirm that this money that I'm going to lend to them will be only for investment purposes type loan. Okay, so once I have the docs, I'm gonna have them sign and notarize the documents. Very important. And I would check the evidence of insurance to make sure there is insurance to the property. I'm gonna review the HUD statement to make sure that everything is legit on the HUD statement. Primarily, I want to make sure that the points and the prorated interest is collected at closing. So if I'm closing on July 25th and there is like few more days for the month of July, I'm going to collect this 6 days worth of interest at closing. And the next payment is not going to be on August 1st. It's going to be only on September 1st. Okay. And I will set an auto payment, meaning that the board will give me authorization to my bank to collect money directly from her account. So it will be an ACH auto deduction. So on the first of the month, my bank will go to her bank, will get the money out of her account to my account. So it's gonna happen on an auto payment. She will not need to initiate it. I won't need to ask her what's going on with the payment. Everything will be automatically set. So I get the money directly out of her account. And once I get that, I see everything in check, I'm going to call the title company to verify a wiring instruction to make sure I'm wiring to the right bank account of the title company. She'll tell me, yes, I want to verify the amount, and then I'm going to initiate the money to go out of my account to her account. And after closing, I want to make sure that I'm super emphasize that they're going to record the mortgage. That's the only public document that will need to be recorded to make sure my loan is in first position. That will give me the legal rights in case the deal goes sideways to start the foreclosure process. They will not be able to sell the property without me clearing the lien. And that's pretty much it. Once I have that, I will wire the post-closing. I will get a copy of the recorded mortgage, and my job is done. That's the beauty of being a lender. Your job is pretty much done once you fund and wire the deal, as opposed to the investor. When I used to be an investor, this is when the headache started. I closed the deal. Now I start to work getting the contract to the site, making sure I'm going and check it's moving forward. After the property is renovated and ready to list it on the property, the real estate agent will start to list the property. And if it's a rental, they will need to start to market the property to find a tenant. And this is just before I'm going to get my money. It's going to take a lot of time, and usually post closing, that's when the headache starts. And that's why I like to be a lender. So if you want to learn how to be a lender, first of all, you can work with me. You can send me a message on Instagram 55, and we're going to have a conversation to see if it's a good fit. And if you don't want to pay me anything, that's fine. I have a free school community. Just check the link of this video and go to my school community. There is a free course there. Get on my email list if you want to get tips and breakdowns of deals that I'm working on. And I will see you inside.